Full Bloom coffee. Have you had it?
No, I'm having it now.
Yeah, you're having it. You like it?
Yeah.
We'll rate it at the end. But
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We'll rate it at the end. But this is the breakfast blend called Busy Bee. Most of the bags will say like you'll taste hints of caramel chocolate. This doesn't have it, so
Yeah.
and I don't know. I never. Every time I try one, I'm like, I guess I taste that. I don't really know, but
so you gotta do a little swirl in the cup like you do with wine. It's like, do I taste a note of like caramel? I don't know. I feel like when I'm around coffee connoisseurs, it just stresses me out because I don't know what to say.
Yeah, no. I need to get better. I need to look up, like, watch a YouTube video on how to drink coffee.
How to drink coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell the difference between like if it tastes good or not.
Yeah, like if I'm drinking like Folgers or something.
Yeah,
like, okay, this is just like
my grandma.
Yeah.
She drinks Folgers all the time, every day.
But this is Full Bloom. They're actually at a Garner, established in 2014. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at fullbloomcoffee.com. But so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I try to follow their instructions. That each bag kind of has brewing instructions, so I do try to follow those, and to kind of get the optimal
kind of flavor
thing to it. But right now I feel like it's a little light.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's light because it says right now medium bag,
but it feels like
light roast.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll drink the whole cup and then taste it at the end or review it at the end and whatnot. I was reading a thing that you can eat coffee beans.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
You want to try one?
Sure. Let's try it.
Try it. I've never eaten one. Maybe I have on an espresso martini or something. Like, put them on top. Are you bowling out?
Let's see. Like, let's hope these are good. Because if I make a face,
how many are you supposed to eat? Just one?
I don't know. Like in the past, I've only had like one in like an espresso martini.
That's when I had that bag.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, I was like, nah. I don't think that was the right coffee bean we're built out. I think it's supposed to be a specific one. Nah.
No, that's not good. All right, people at home, don't eat your coffee beans. Just drink it like a normal person.
Yeah, or don't eat this, man.
Yeah. So Davante Falls.
Yeah.
Are you marketing director? Is that your kind of your title?
No. Thank you for calling me a director. I like that. No, I'm senior marketing advisor for Compass here in the Triangle. So I'm one of two. So
yeah, but you have the name senior in your name.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool.
So how'd you get to be here at Compass?
Yeah, so I started with Compass back in 2021. Actually, when we first started in this market, I was originally in marketing for a jewelry company called Diamonds Direct.
Yeah, so that's where I got my likes right.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of people know who it is.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was a fun time. I spent 6 years there. Right after
the one in Crabtree.
Yeah. So I led the one at Crabtree as well as the one in our St. Louis market. So St. Louis is very, very different city. Not a bad thing necessarily, but it is definitely different. So, but yeah, I worked there for some time, and then I wanted to try something different. To me, real estate really kind of reflected like some of the values of what I wanted to see in my next role, and I would say specifically the marketing side of Compass did. Like I just love like the sleek modern look, and I'm like, oh, I want to be at a cool like tech real estate firm like this, and I got the role, and here I am. Like I love it, man. It's so cool. I was almost feel like we operate like an agency within Compass.
Yeah,
the marketing team does, so we get to work with so many different people.
Yeah, it's cool. The whole marketing team's, man, you and Sydney. Is there anybody else I know?
No, you don't know my manager, Isabella, but she's around too.
Where's she out of?
She's in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like when you get to meet her,
well, you'll love you and Sydney are awesome. So, but yeah, I look forward to meeting Isabella and Sydney. Yeah, shout out to Sydney. That's cool. So, what kind of things were you doing for Diamonds Direct?
Yeah, so I was essentially heading up the kind of the brand direction. I was doing a lot of branding. I was doing a lot of lead gen, trying to bring in new clients. What was really cool was I was able to kind of work in two like different markets. So like Raleigh specifically is like one of the top markets for Diamonds Direct, right? Okay. Like top two actually. And so it considerably had like so much of market share. Like it was not hard to like get people to know who we were, right? Like we had already kind of captivated the audience for so long. And then the market in St. Louis was new. Like it was like probably like 2 years old when I took it over. That's like very new. So I was going into St. Louis trying to get people to come in the store, doing all these things. So essentially a lot of my role was brand partnerships. I was partnering with like local businesses, charities. And then I would do obviously on the back end, do some branding efforts like digital marketing, paid advertising to get things out there. We do a lot of radio, which if you haven't listened to the radio anytime soon.
I haven't in a while,
Yeah.
but I've definitely heard radio.
Yeah.
Diamond Direct radio ads. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say most people hear us on the radio. I remember when I first started at the company, I was like, you know what? I don't think people are going to listen to radio. Like, why are we spending so much money? Like, I mean, we're spending like millions. Like, I'm like, nobody's going to do that with radio. Everyone that came in the door, I felt like would come in and mention, I heard you on the radio. And I'm like, oh,
It's probably because
okay.
people who are able to buy expensive diamonds, stuff are older, and they're listening. They're not listening to pulling up Spotify on their CarPlay. They're just listening to the radio.
Yeah,
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Christmas was probably busy for you.
Oh my gosh, man. Christmas, I'm going to tell you, I was scarred. I was scarred for so many years. Most of my team members here at Compass Now will tell you, when we had like our first like break during the Christmas holiday season, I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my gosh, like, wait, we're off during the holiday season? We don't work? Like, I'm so used to like working through the holiday season. But I was also scarred with the mall, so Crabtree Valley Mall. When I would go by, I would just be like, I don't want to go in the mall.
Yeah.
I'm scarred. Like, I'm so used to seeing the traffic in our store that I don't want to see this many people ever again. So yeah.
I'm kind of pissed we started with eating a coffee bean because it was stuck in my mouth.
I was going to say, you see me like kind of swiveling around a little bit. I'm trying to get the coffee bean out. So I apologize, audience. I'm just trying to get the bean down. It just keep coming up. So
how'd you get started in the marketing field?
Yeah, I'll give you my life story. Not really, but
Life story. We got time. I don't know how much time you have, but I have all the time in the world.
No, I got time. Well, with so I went to NC State. That's where I got my undergrad degree.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, went to Go Pack. But I went to NC State, and when I went to NC State, I was one of those students that went in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do everything, actually. I was going in to be a surgeon. Then I wanted to become the president of the United States, which I don't know if I want to do that, but want to become president of the United States. And then I just ultimately decided on undecided. So they have a pretty robust program at NC State called First Year College where you can go in if you're undecided. So I did undecided. I was feeling like I was a year behind everyone else, but it wasn't true. I wasn't. But the program was set up so like very thoughtfully that they had essentially mapped out so many different ways for people to figure out like what they're good at and what they might be more passionate about. And so
but were you taking like I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
were you taking like not like personality tests,
like Myers-Briggs?
Yeah, like were you doing that kind of stuff to kind of figure out what direction you might want to go?
Exactly. Yep, we were doing some of that, but we were also like we had academic advisors just like everyone else,
Right.
And we had academic advisors, and those advisors would kind of give us directions based on what they had saw in our charts, because we still were like we're like what 18 years old. We didn't know. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what that means on Myers-Briggs, but they're like, okay, this means you're a little bit more social, and so they would guide us in those directions, like maybe consider this extracurricular activity, like do this and see if you like it, like, or try this extracurricular course and see if you enjoy it. So we would do that, and then like by the time we finished like that first year in the program, they would kind of hope for us to kind of matriculate over into where we're supposed to be. I ended up with communication, PR. I was like, public relations. Well, I like public relations. I see,
Yeah.
So I did it, and it was really fun. I was like, yeah, I love communicating with people. I love talking to people. But then, after some time, I think I took my first like journalism course. I was like, no, I hate this. I was like, I absolutely hate this. I like talking to people. I don't want to write. I don't want to do all this extra stuff,
Yeah.
And so I ended up saying, okay, I'm going to stay in this course or this actual area of communication, but I'm going to try internships, because we had to have an internship our senior year.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? A marketing internship sounds really fun. Like, let's see what it is. Like, I don't know like what that means for me. And so I had taken a marketing internship at the university, and I'm really thankful because the one I took was probably, I don't know, probably one of the best ones they had to offer. Like the director of the program, he was just so like intentional about like helping you grow, and he had like a whole plan, like entire plan, like written out for us on how we were gonna develop skills. And I developed so much, man. That's how I learned like Adobe.
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned like even photography, like understanding angles, even though I wasn't necessarily
Right.
gonna be a photographer. And then outside of that, obviously the marketing, branding side, design side, and learning to communicate a little bit better. So I ended up doing that, and I was like, you know what, marketing. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Marketing. I'm done. Like I don't want to do anything else, and I'm glad I did it. Like I made a great choice.
So from that internship, you graduated obviously, and
Yeah.
then did you go right into Diamonds Direct?
Yeah, so I actually, funny enough, I got that internship, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna graduate in a year. Like, I need to figure out like next steps, and I will say like my fixation was on like luxury.
Okay.
I would say I've always wanted to like work in luxury, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like, I want to work in luxury. I want to work in luxury, and Diamonds Direct was the closest brand that I could find around, or that I actually genuinely knew was a luxury brand around. There was plenty others, but now that I know, but I didn't know at the time. And so anyway, I was like, I wonder if Diamonds Direct has marketing internships. They had a marketing internship. Funny enough, I didn't get the marketing internship. It's one of my like best friends. Like we're best friends now. The person who got it. But I didn't get the internship. And time went by, and I was like, you know what? I just need a little fun part-time job. It doesn't hurt to just get a part-time job there, because I can still learn, about the luxury industry, so that when I graduate, I can kind of branch out. What was funny was when I started like working there part-time, I was able to communicate with the vice president and with everyone in kind of the fold.
Yeah.
And I ended up becoming like the marketing assistant for a little bit of time. I did that for not even a full year before I got my first assignment as like marketing manager for St. Louis. So I moved to St. Louis, had my own store there. Yeah, I moved there. Yeah, I moved there. I lived there for 2 years. It was a cool market. I learned a lot. I met a lot of friends, and I will say, as a marketer, it challenged me beyond any scope of things I've done before in my life. Like, it was so cool. So I have like I would say a pretty diversified approach to marketing. Like, I understand like when you don't have a big budget, how to do things. Yeah. When you do have like a huge budget, you can like do so much.
Yeah.
And I think that really translated well over for me in real estate as well, because we have some agents that do have like a bigger budget that they can spend. We have some that don't. And for me, like, I'm like, I can work with either. Like, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Some tactics and approaches are going to look a little different, and some people may or may not like them. But they all work at the end of the day. Like, if you're intentional about it, if you're like really steadfast and you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it done, then it works a lot better. But back to like St. Louis. So I lived there, and then I got promoted in a way. I say promoted. My peer from the Raleigh market had left. She was going on to like another opportunity, and my vice president wanted me to come back, which was really cool. Like, it was a big ask, and it was like an honor to be asked to come back. I'm like, oh wow, like to leave this store? Like, this is a huge store. So I come back to the store, and I was dual affiliated. I feel like that's a realtor term I'm using a lot, but I was dual affiliated in both markets. So I was doing St. Louis marketing, but I was also doing Raleigh marketing, which obviously I mentioned.
Do you fly in back and forth?
Yeah. Not often. Not like, it wasn't like every week I'm leaving. It's like maybe like once a quarter I'm going to St. Louis. But I actually had kind of a intern working under me in the St. Louis market, so I was able to kind of give directives, and she would be able to execute for me, which was nice. And also having like I had been boots on the ground for 2 years. I kind of understood what I needed done. So I recommend. Anyone that wants to go to a new market, like, whether young, whether older, it doesn't matter. I always recommend trying out for a little bit. Like, 2 years. 2 years was enough for me to determine, okay, I don't know if I necessarily want to stay in St. Louis, but I do know, like,
Did you grow up in this area?
No. Yeah. So I grew up, I thought you were going to say if I grew up in Missouri, but yeah. No, I grew up in Shelby, North Carolina.
I don't even know where that is.
So Shelby, North Carolina is, the best way to describe it is it's headed west. So it's easiest way is between Asheville and Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How big is like that town?
it's small, man.
Really?
Like, NC State was like population wise, NC State was bigger than my
No way.
hometown. Yeah.
So is your whole family still there?
Yeah. I would say a good majority of my family. My
mean-
grandmother's, like my dad's family, grandmothers and aunts and uncles, they live in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go to Georgia sometimes to see them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of my family, like mom, dad, other grandmother, brother, sister, all of them live back in Shelby.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And so you're the only one who came out here and stayed, huh?
Yeah, came to Raleigh, and I can go back, man. Like my mom, I remember when I graduated, my mom was like, "Are you gonna come back to Shelby?" Like she was literally in her mind thinking I'm coming. Yeah, like, "Are you gonna come back to Shelby?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." Right? I'll come visit, but I love y'all. But no, I'm back.
Yeah.
It's hard to go from a small city to a big city, and then
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah. Well, I grew up. I guess I grew up
yeah,
in Scranton, but I always tell people it's Scranton, Pennsylvania. But then I graduated high school. I went like all throughout high school and stuff
Yeah.
to Clayton
oh wow,
High School, and so I kind of just am like, yeah, I'm from Clayton. Since I've actually lived in North Carolina longer now than I did Pennsylvania, so
yeah,
I guess I'm from here.
yeah. That's you're North Carolina.
But so we lived in Clayton, and then I lived in Cary for a little while, actually like right down the road from here.
Yeah,
And then me and my wife got married and moved to Durham. And I'm like opposite of you because I was like, oh, I want to live in a city. Like, I kind of like walk to everything. And now I'm like, I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta spread out. We got too many people near me. I'm like, I need a house that I can have a yard and my dog can run around. And so now we're living in Anger, and we'll probably stay there for a while, I think. But yes, that's just funny.
yeah.
But-
I told you my grandmother is actually funny enough from Andrew.
That's right. Yeah.
She told me that one day, and I was like, wait, that's like right. That's near Raleigh, and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Have you ever been?
I've been one time.
Okay.
I've been one time.
Like how long ago?
It was, hold on, that was 6 years ago.
Okay.
So when I came, I will say that when I came, I was very, very surprised that something so small and quaint. That's me being nice. No shade to Andrew most. Andrew is a really cute town, but like I was just very surprised something so small like that could be close to Raleigh. Like I'm surprised Raleigh hasn't like tried to like take over the city. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, but
And the 6 years, it is definitely, obviously, it's grown.
yeah,
I mean, if you go there now, you'll still be like, what is this tiny town?
like I'm looking for a Whole Foods.
Yeah, nah. We have a Food Lion and a Carly C's.
Hey, what is Carly C's? Is there a grocery store?
Yeah, it's a grocery
Oh,
store.
see, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah,
IGA. It's
Yeah.
called, but yeah, it's like our little redneck grocery store. But it's cool. It's a cool little town. Everybody kind of knows everybody. Kind of feel.
yeah,
And the downtown's growing. Like, we have this new Italian sub shop, which is the best Italian sub I've ever had in my life.
yeah,
And they have a little speakeasy above it, which is cool. And they're bringing in like a Greek restaurant is coming in.
Yeah.
They have a new coffee shop that came in, which is huge for us. That's a huge win.
Look, before you know it, you'll be Raleigh.
The traffic, because there's only like two main roads. So there's 55 and 210 that run
Yeah.
through it. And because that's it, like, I mean, you'll wait at a stoplight and it'll be backed up for 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah,
Like, and you're like, okay, I moved out here to get away from the traffic. And
yeah.
it's all out here. But, yeah, it's nuts. But anyway, how have you transitioned from obviously Diamonds Direct to selling or marketing houses and,
Yeah.
you know, helping agents market their houses and whatnot. What was that transition like? Like, did you have to kind of learn new marketing strategies, all that
Yeah.
stuff?
I'll tell you, it was actually surprisingly enough not as challenging as I expected. I would say what was more challenging than anything is Compass has so many acronyms, and anyone listening to this will probably giggle if they're a Compass agent or staff member.
Yeah.
We all oftentimes joke about like how many acronyms we have. I was like, I don't understand what that means. Like agents are saying the acronym, staff is saying the acronym to me, and I'm like, okay, like so I'm learning so much verbiage, so much jargon that's
Yeah.
real estate related. And I think that was probably I wouldn't even say challenging. It took some time, obviously, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
understanding like what due diligence is.
Right.
People are saying this to me. I think that ended up for the better making me a stronger marketer. But as far as the transition from jewelry to homes, The only thing I would say would be like kind of alarming to me was the price difference, obviously.
Right,
You know,
right,
like
right.
you're buying a $5,000 diamond ring versus a $500,000 home. That's a huge difference, right?
Right, right.
But at the end of the day, what was really cool and was one of the things that I often speak about in that transition was those are both similar things, like in the grand scheme of things. So if you think about it, those are part of big purchases people make in their lives, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I remember walking into
yep,
Diamond Strike, buying my wife's diamond. It
yep.
was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, like $5,000 is a lot for some people. You know what I mean? Like going in and buying a diamond just for a piece of jewelry, right? Like for a diamond, or we had people come in and buy 200, $300,000 rings. Wow, right?
Like
They're buying a small home.
Travis Kelsey's ring to
Is that to Taylor Swift?
That's it.
How much was that one?
I don't know. Me and my wife were talking about because we hear different like these like diamond experts say different things. Like she heard it was like 600,000, but I heard it was more like 2 to 3 million. So I'm like, I don't know.
So there's so many layers to like a diamond too. I think that's the issue. Like everyone is probably trying to determine that, but like you really wouldn't know unless you have like a microscope to look at it, because you're gonna have to consider things like obviously size is the most biggest part of like determining that, and that's what people are probably basing it off of. So you gotta look at like the cut, the clarity, like how clean is the diamond, right? And you wouldn't really know that by a picture. Like you would have to really look at
Except for that sucker's huge.
yeah, because it could have been a million. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
depending on if it's a flawless diamond, But so there's so many different parts to that. But no, that is funny. But I will say like like that transition was for me seamless in that sense. Like I was like, okay, I'm transitioning into a role where I I'm helping someone make one of the largest purchases of their life again, but it's just in a different scope. So
They're so emotional.
exactly, they're emotional.
Yeah.
Like there are things that, so I understand the emotional parts of the client that they're going to ask for, and it's interesting for me because I will say what is different is the agents, like you are considered my client as well. So like you're my client, but also your client is my client, right? So it's like, how do I help my client, I don't know, transpose or like come up with this cool creative to like market to like all these people in the area that may be looking to buy or sell their home.
Right.
And I would say that was probably a hard thing to wrap my head around, like being with my client every day.
Yeah.
I'm used to clients going in and out of my office, you know what I mean? Like I don't talk to them much. So to have you all around me, I think it's actually more exciting, to be honest, like having my clients like be around me every day. So you get to learn the ins and outs of like how y'all's businesses work.
Yeah.
Then I'm able to kind of come up, transcribe that, and then put it into something beautiful for you. So, cool.
How do you balance the different marketing for different agents? Like, for example, obviously my clientele is different, way different than like Liz Brown's or Davis Holtz or Yeti Gunter. Shout out, go listen to those episodes. How do you switch your view or how you do things based on the different clientele that people are serving?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. And this kind of goes back to like where I reference how we almost operate like a marketing agency, Sydney and myself, simply because we do have to shift our brain. Like, you in our eyes, y'all are like completely different businesses. Now there are going to be things that obviously are crossing over, right? Like there's gonna be some similarities and things because you can only do but so much different things. I would say we really start leaning into like what the agent's goals are, and that's what helps the goals and understanding branding. Like, so for instance, I would with Liz, she has a very clean, I would say even feminine like aesthetic. So when I'm thinking about designing or creating for her, I'm thinking about like, not to get in the weeds on things, but like getting into like the clean line work, right? Thinking about like different typography I could use that would be reminiscent of who I know she is brand wise, but also trying to keep it consistent, every single time. So like Liz may come to me in January and say, I want to do like, I don't know, this new email blast that goes out to my clients. And so I would create something with her with all of those thoughts in mind. But then in June, she may say, hey, I have a client appreciation event. And I'm going to still play on those elements, but I'm going to make it very in tune with what the season is. So like summer, I wouldn't make it super airy and whimsical. I would make it summery, right? But I would still make it light and beautiful.
Yeah.
For Davis, Davis is going to lean a little bit more into like the masculine side of things, and not just because they're men and women, but simply because of that's just how he's always done things and what he like leans into. And so I would
Right.
probably create something that's a little bit more bold, masculine
Yeah.
in essence. Typography still plays a role in that, but also brand messaging from both of them would probably differ, right? Like so,
Right.
Davis is he works a lot in the development space,
Mhm.
right? Like, so I probably make sure a lot of the verbiage is around that, we're talking to those things. Whereas Liz, kind of has more in touch, with her clients in her sphere of influence. So I would probably, create something that, speaks to the people in the communities that she's in. Right. So I think it happens over time, but it almost becomes like a skill you develop, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. So like you develop the skill over time. But I would say for me, the biggest thing that I did when I came into this office, this is just me as a person in general. I meet everyone. I want to build a personal connection because truly, you could come up to me and say, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, like here's something for you. But like if I don't know you, like if I don't really genuinely have a connection with you, it's a lot harder for me personally, to design and to strategize. So I'm oftentimes, the easiest way for me to learn to differentiate the brands from each
Mhm.
other is to build that connection so that I can say like my friend Sally over here wouldn't do the same thing as Derek,
Right.
like they're completely different things
Right.
because I know them enough to know this is how they would market. That also kind of better informs me on like things to like give y'all strategy wise too. So like I could see something that comes up and I'm like, what, this would be a great fit for Ethan. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So here's the idea, like check this out, if you're interested or something,
Yeah.
um, let's chat about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What advice would you give to an agent who's trying to keep their brand consistent? Like, I feel like that's kind of hard. It's like,
Yeah.
to make sure like everything kind of flows. Like and again, I'm marketing inept, so I'm like, but like when I started Lines Realty, it was like, okay, this is like we're trying to build out a brand, and then it was like, okay, how do we have everything flow from that initial build out to
Yeah.
kind of match that?
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like some of the, either whether it's content on social media or emails, like they don't always sync up with
Yeah.
the initial brand. So like, how do you keep everything,
Yeah.
you know, comfortable?
Um, I would say mapping out things is probably one of the first steps. I know when you and I first met to talk about some things, biggest thing I can mention to any agent is mapping out things. I know oftentimes it seems very tedious, but I'm like, if you map it out from the start, from the get go, I promise you it will better inform like everything you're doing later,
Mm-hmm.
and you're easily able to kind of navigate like brand consistency. Because I will tell you, to your point, it's probably one of the most challenging things I have, to go through with some of my agents. Like I have an agent that wants to post a red social media post, and then next day it's a green social media post. I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
so many colors, so much different content. And so I would say mapping out everything, and mapping out is going to look different for you know everything across the board. But you map out everything. You put your social media, you put your email, you put what do you want like your messaging to actually be. So when I'm sitting with my agent, what are you actually trying to achieve? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you wanting new leads? Are you wanting to work with buyers? Do you want to work with everyone? Right? Are you more of a transplant? Like I have an agent right now that I work with who, she really really loves working with relocation clients just because she's a transplant herself. Like, and I'm like, okay, great. Like you have a great knowledge of this, so let's make sure your messaging focuses on this. Now, one of the things I have to often like debunk a myth is that people are like, well, I can't change my branding. Like I have to stay with this branding forever. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have to stay with the branding forever. Think about McDonald's. Cracker Barrel just made a big change on their logo, right? Like
Right.
obviously, change will come over time. Like again, everything that we do better informs future strategies. But when we're talking about like branding consistency, mapping out everything from your content creation to like what you want the design to be, even like
Mm-hmm.
designs and settings. Like I'm big on like having my agents uh come to whatever they're gonna do with like the assets already ready. So like you already have your email template ready, and it matches your social media template and it matches this. But mapping out is kind of probably one of the biggest things I could ever tell an agent to do. I think when they map out, when you actually map it out and write it out, like you can kind of see then like, okay, this doesn't make sense together. Yeah, this doesn't work together,
Yeah.
And then having a schedule of things. I know you're really good at that, but having a schedule of social media posts, even if it is, because I think oftentimes what ends up happening is people are scrambling. They're in a frenzy to try to get something put because they're like, okay, Davante told me I should be posting once a week, but I don't have anything ready.
Right.
And they're just posting something random. And I'm like, okay, that got the job done, but it just got the job done. It didn't really like speak to what you really are hoping to achieve, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would say that's really kind of one of the things I highly recommend: mapping out and scheduling.
Yeah.
Like biggest ways you can kind of approach brand consistency.
So how would you then go from, let's say there's an agent who's been working with first-time home buyers for 8 years, and it's like, okay, I feel like I'm kind of graduating from this a little bit. Like my sphere is no longer first-time home buyers. Now they're, buying their second house or selling their whole house or whatever. But let's say they want to like, I want to move more into the luxury space instead of the first-time home buyer space. So what would be their actions to like make that jump?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying like what would like help them like kind of move over into?
Yeah, like kind of like rebrand from like, hey, I'm the young, fun seller or, buyer's agent to, hey, like I'm zoning into more of a serious luxury kind of market.
So here's, it's a conversation I have with, actually I've had this conversation quite a bit with agents over my years here at Compass. What's funny though is oftentimes people don't like hearing what I have to say, but it is true. It's back to basics, grassroots marketing. To get into the luxury space, you have to, sending a postcard to a luxury neighborhood is not going to, it could get you a luxury buyer or seller, but it's not at the end of the day going to be the most effective way to spend your time. And so I often tell my agents, if you're trying to be in a luxury space, connect with luxury individuals, be in luxury spaces, right? You know what I mean? Like think about like if you were, it's a simple way to describe it, but think about if you wanted to be like like better at basketball or better at a sport. You wouldn't just sit at home and say, I just want to be better at this sport.
Right.
Like you would go to a basketball court, right? And hang around people who know how to play basketball and say, let me learn how to develop my skills. And so I oftentimes, that's the easiest way. And I think most people think I'll give them like a handbook and be like, here you go. Here's how you actually become a luxury agent. And I'm like, you become a luxury agent because you become a luxury agent.
Right.
You take the approach to becoming a luxury agent.
Learning how luxury people live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Knowing where they are, like what areas are they in. And now I will say, there are things as a marketing team, we will help guide you towards, right? Like we'll say, okay, here are some faces you should consider. Here's some groups you should consider, right? But at the end of the day, it still lends itself to being like an opportune time for the agent to build and connect with, maybe it's real estate agents, maybe it's not real estate agents, it's just luxury clients, right? But it gives them the opportunity time to like mold themselves into these spaces and kind of build themselves up. I have one agent, I'm giving her a shout out, Ali Bushimi. But
I know
Ali Bushimi is,
I wouldn't have her on. Come on, Ali.
But Ali is a great example. I often tell her this, like she's a great example. Her and Courtney Whalen, also shout out to Courtney Whalen, but they're two agents. Remember when they started, they weren't necessarily considered luxury agents. Now I do have to preface by saying they both still navigate homes outside of the luxury space. So they're not just strictly luxury agents, but they have tapped into that market more. And one of the ways they did it was grassroots marketing, right? Like they went out, made the connections. Courtney Whalen, she plays tennis, it's a big part of who she is and her lifestyle. She made those connections with those people in those fields because a lot of luxury clients play tennis, right?
Yeah.
Ali Bushimi, grassroots marketing, makes the connections. She's on social media a lot, so she's able to connect with an audience of like our stature, younger audience. But no, she was still doing grassroots marketing. I remember her first time meeting with me. She came up to me and she said, "I have a luxury client." It was one of like it was going to be one of her first clients at Compass. And she came up to me and said, "I have a luxury client. Like, I'm really excited about approaching them." And I said, "Okay, I'll get a listing presentation put together for you, a luxury one, right?" And I give it to her, and she went in on the pitch. I can't remember if she got the home or not, but it still goes to show that she was willing to like put herself out there.
Yeah.
And then like I know she does navigate like going to a lot of different social clubs and things like that. So yeah, that would be my normal way to describe
Yeah,
it.
that's to like hang out at the Rolls Royce dealership on Capitol.
Yep, it's what's up. Just come out with. I always tell people go out with like your business card, put it on the Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
like ask Rolls Royce. You know what's cool though? Like that is a great opportunity. Sidebarring, but in the same note, breadth of things. That is one of the ways I wish so many more of our agents would operate and navigate the field of either going into luxury space or continuing to grow their sphere. Is partner with luxury brands. Like brands love partnerships. Like Rolls Royce, I know they partner with a lot of our agents.
Really?
Partner with them. Have them bring the car to your listing. You know what I mean?
That would be dope.
Especially if you have a luxury listing.
Right.
Obviously not
up to $300,000.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Oh no. Read the room though. Like,
Yeah.
don't break a Rolls Royce to that. But having those partnerships, those connections, partner with Diamonds Direct even. Like partner with jewelry brands. Do a giveaway for your open house. Yeah. Like those are little things I always try to have people think outside of the box on what you could do to navigate. Another one we have a partner with Artful Libations. They have a mobile bar that they can bring around. So cool. It's a cool concept. Yeah, that's a great concept for like an open house. Yeah. Like if you're trying to drive traffic to an open house, and then it doesn't have to be a luxury one. It can be any open house.
Right.
But if you know it's a unique open house and you're really trying to drive and make the mark for that client, have them come. You know what I mean? Set up a bar for people to come. Yeah. Tell people drinks and food are involved. They'll be there. Like,
yeah.
So
that's one thing I love about Compass. And I kind of want to get your take on this a little bit. Is you said think outside the box, and I feel like the agents here do a good job of that. I feel real estate agents, we kind of get stuck in the mud a little bit. Like we just kind of do the same thing and it's kind of been the same. Yeah, like internet played a huge factor, but
yeah,
I mean, there's really not a whole lot of difference from now. We have it on the MLS online to, in the 90s when they had their books, and you'd come into the office or whatever. So how do agents think outside the box? Like, where should they come out, get ideas from? Like, what does that look like? I don't know if that makes sense. But
it does, yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty broad question, I guess. But a question that most agents are like, yeah, I want to do something outside the box, something maybe a little crazy about that, that would drive traffic in. But what's your take on that? Like,
no, I get that a lot. Where people are like, I'm running into I have a hurdle roadblock. With my agents, particularly, how I approach this is, I'm always game for a branding session. You know what I mean? A strategy session, not a branding one, but a strategy session to talk through where are some cool ways that, I could think about elevating my brand. And what I normally do is I'm going to pick apart like different things. Again, back to Courtney Whalen. Courtney Whalen is a part. Most of us have some sort of thing that we gravitate to outside of like our day's full-time job.
We have passions.
Like we have a passion. Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I love Pilates, I love working out. For Courtney, she loves tennis. I have some people like yourself, they're bourbon aficionados, but you're got a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, bro, I doubt.
But how can we leverage what you already know? So that you're not boring yourself, but you're elevating something you already enjoy doing, right?
Yeah.
So like Courtney, what she does, and I love this about her, she actually sponsors one of I think it might be the tennis matches for like her neighborhood, or it might be another community. I can't remember exactly which area it is, but nonetheless, she gets clients off of that. She has her face. She has a huge sign. You know what I mean? She's coming with cool collateral and accessories that are tennis branded accessories that people can actually use and bring them to her. It's another strategy, another way that she's approaching it. I think oftentimes agents come to me with the thought that they need to do something so big and grandiose, and that's not actually the case. Like, think about the small things you can add on. Like, so those passions you have. Is there a club here, a bourbon club that I partner with, and do some branding with? Yeah. Maybe do a partnership with, maybe a cigar and bourbon event. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something cool.
That would be cool.
But yeah,
let's do it.
But another thing, maybe an unpopular opinion, maybe a popular opinion. I don't actually know what it is, but I will say, looking at other agents. I always tell agents, I'm like, look at other agents in other markets. Like, most agents follow other agents, like in Chicago and, New York, California. It's such a broad network of, things going on in the U.S. ecosystem of things. But look at those agents, right? What are they doing? You don't necessarily have to copy and paste what they're doing,
Right.
but see, like, what are things that are moving the needle? That's the compass thing. But moving the moving the needle, moving the needle for them, right?
Yeah.
Would it maybe move the needle for you? I don't know. But we do a lot of A/B testing too, right? We're just testing, oftentimes with digital ads, right? Like, but with most stuff, like, what are you seeing? Are you actually seeing a return on this? Like, you're sponsoring this event. Have you actually gotten a leads off of it, right? Like,
Right.
or is it just great branding? Like, do you still feel like it's great branding where
Yeah.
people can recognize you? Like, I know Courtney Wayland,
Right.
because I see her sign all the time, right?
Right.
I can tell you most times people do see things like that. Again, we got to read the room and understand like where we are. Like that's going to be a small, more intimate space that tennis court is, right? Because people know each other. They're probably coming often to the same tennis court, right?
Right.
Versus a billboard. Billboards are great. Billboards can be great. Just truly depending on the messaging, but also like location, like the audience and all those things.
Yeah.
So many factors play a part in things like that.
So with advertising, how much of it is like repetition? Like, okay, I've seen Lines Realty in Harnett County.
Mhm.
I see it on this billboard. I see it on the signs. I see it on my Facebook ads. I see it. How much is it of like just that repetition of seeing it compared to like the actual meat and potatoes of the actual ad itself? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, are people going to call me because they've seen my billboard 50 times, or are they going to call me because the billboard was really good?
It could be either or. I know that's very like
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
just like question answer to the question, but it could be people now I for 2 years of seeing your ads was not ready to buy a home, right?
Mhm.
Like I wasn't ready to buy a home, but your ad spoke to me. The meat and potatoes of the ad spoke to me because now it matters for me. Like I need to buy a home, and you're the agent I can think of when I think of real estate or buying a home, right?
Yeah.
And then on that same note, breadth of things, it could also just be like, I just so happened across your ad like randomly, and now I'm gonna like choose to work with you as an agent because you're the first visible thing I see, right?
Mm.
So like that first client that worked with you is probably ingrained in them over time because they are seeing you so often, like the branding is working, right?
Yeah.
But for that second client, like it's still branding, it's still the same thing. It's just I needed the immediate help now, and you were there. I wasn't necessarily captivated by your message per se. I just saw that your ad said that you were a real estate agent and you could help me where I needed it. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I saw this video. I don't know if it was on Instagram or what, but
yeah,
they were doing this experiment, and like a marketing experiment or something. And so they went to this neighborhood and they said, who is the number one agent in this area?
yeah,
And somebody would say, John Smith, Sue Smith, whatever. And
Yeah.
they kind of just threw out different names, and it was all over the map. And then they did, I want to say it was 6 or 8 weeks of, they sent either a mailer or door knocked or whatever, the same agent, and it was the same face on the postcard. Let's say I think it was mailer. So they sent the same mailer for 8 weeks straight. And then they went back to the neighborhood and said, who's the top agent in this neighborhood? And 90% of them said it was that agent.
yeah,
Now, they don't know if that agent's ever sold a house before, but in their mind, because of what they've seen, like their perception of that agent is like, oh, they must be the best because I've seen them 8 times in the last 8 weeks. So that, what you're saying definitely like matches that experiment that they did.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say to you, like one of the biggest things I recommend my agents, and that's you're speaking to it right now, which is why I speak to an agent and I say, okay, if you're gonna do postcards for this neighborhood, you're not gonna just do it one time at the beginning of the year. You have to do it every month. We need you to be consistent because at the end of the day, your goal is to try to migrate into this neighborhood, right, and become like one of the agents that you have, and you have no connection to the neighborhood,
right.
The best way to ensure that you're at least branding yourself purposefully is to continue marketing, like have consistent marketing. That's back to that consistent branding. Like, what is your messaging? It's probably best to have a consistent message when you're messaging these or emailing or mailing to these people's addresses, because they will remember your face, swap out the photo a little bit, but not too much.
That plays into us. So everybody listened to episode number 3 with Kaylee Norming. But she kind of said that too, was like with mailers, especially, she was like, if you send them once, it's gonna get thrown away.
Mm-hmm.
Then you send it twice. Now the husband picks it up and he's like, "What is this?" Throws it away. The third time they're like, "Okay, we keep getting this junk mail. Throw it away." Fourth time they're like, "Okay, maybe let me read it.
Yeah.
What is this? Why do I keep getting this?" And
Yeah.
then they might throw it away after they read it, but at least they read it. And then fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, whatever.
Yep.
And now they're like, "Okay, now it's like this. Okay, gosh, this freaking guy just keeps sending
Yeah.
this crap."
Like,
But at least it's like they're reading it. Okay, it's this real estate agent, whatever.
yeah.
But then when, they get a job transfer and they're like, "Crap, we need to sell." Well,
Yeah.
I know this guy because he sent us, 100 postcards and annoyed the crap out of us.
Yep.
But at least we know him,
Yep. It's true.
But yeah, so that's kind of what Kaylee was saying. She did a good job with it, but she explained it better than I did.
I was like, no. Kaylee is amazing. She's amazing. She's very knowledgeable in that sense.
Yeah, she's so freaking smart. I'm like, I'm listening to her talk. I'm like, oh my gosh, she can just retain information.
Oh, you feel that way with me right now?
100%.
He's so smart. Yeah. So yeah. no. That's I will say, just to kind of add to your point quickly. With that being said, though, one of the things I highly recommend anytime an agent is doing like postcards in your neighborhood, you should be digitally geofencing it as well.
What do you mean by that?
So, for those of you who do not know, digital geofencing, people hear geofencing, and most of the time they don't necessarily know what it is. But in this capacity, what we would be considering is that there's technically a digital, obviously invisible, fence that is put around. Like, for instance, let's say I want to do Lockmere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a popular neighborhood here in Cary. I want to geofence, so I'm going to have a digital third-party company geofence the neighborhood, put an invisible fence, a parameter around the community, so that these folks are being served ads from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're being served ads, obviously, from a brand consistency standpoint. So we talk about mapping out things, make sure your ads are matching the postcards, right?
Right.
And so people are getting served those ads and seeing your postcards. So they're getting double the branding, right? They're seeing you like, oh my gosh, this guy Ethan is following me everywhere, but you're top of mind for them.
Yeah.
You're in their brain. So that's really truly the goal, kind of.
And that's good too for multiple target markets. I mean, like, like me and my wife, we get a postcard, it's in the trash. But if I see it on Facebook or Instagram or something, like, I might click on it. Like, I'm more likely to click on it or read it than I am a postcard.
Yeah.
But like, if it was like my parents or something, they might be more inclined to like, hey, let me read this postcard.
Yeah.
So you're hitting it twice, but it can hit different age groups too.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Know your audience.
Know your audience. That's right.
Every audience is different.
Yeah. So you mentioned the whole Pilates thing. Let's kind of talk about that.
Oh,
how'd you get involved with that?
So, a little backstory about me. I back in 2020, the years are going by so quickly. 2023, I was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I think I didn't know that, but
yeah. So for me, years before that, I had been like doing a lot of strength training, a lot of like HIIT workouts. That was kind of like how I navigated, like, my working out. I loved it. And I still do. I do it again now. But
like CrossFit kind of stuff?
Yeah, it wasn't CrossFit per se. Right? Yeah, in a similar sense. I was going to a gym called Metabolic.
Okay.
They have their own like type of programming. It was amazing. It's amazing programming, by the way. But I was going there for some time, and Emily, don't get mad at me. This is the owner. Me calling it a HIIT workout. They don't like being called HIIT. But anyway, I when I got diagnosed, I couldn't do any strenuous workouts. Like, I couldn't do like strength training. So their goal for me was to do something low impact, and I was like, I don't want to do yoga. Like, I'm tired of yoga. And so I'm like, Pilates sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I started taking Pilates classes, and Pilates was amazing. Like, it was so good. It challenged me in ways I didn't know before. And shortly after, I think I did it for like a few months. I'm like, I want to be an instructor. I want to teach Pilates.
Yeah.
This would be fun.
Yeah.
Like, and then it took me, I went through a few months of training, and I became an instructor. So, I've been teaching since the end of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. So been teaching since September 2023 now, and over at Flow Core is so fun. We have a great time,
Yeah.
But Pilates is a different space, man. And it's funny because I feel like the internet has helped Pilates blow up even more. You see all these like football players. They will say people in.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing right now.
Yeah.
Well, first I want to say hats off to you for getting diagnosed with MS and then just not getting like, well, I guess I'm not going to do anything and just lay around, that's still like find something that you can still be active in is awesome to see, man.
Yeah.
But Yeah, the Pilates thing is like I feel like I see everybody's like that's kind of like the thing right now. That and I want to talk about hydrox,
High rocks.
high rocks. I keep calling it hydrox.
I didn't say hydraulics. It's like hydraulics that work out. That's why.
So what is that?
So
Is that like a class or is that just like a challenge or what?
So High Rocks is similar to, I always describe it as, High Rocks aficionados, please don't come for me, but like I always describe High Rocks as the sister brother to CrossFit.
Okay.
So it's essentially a endurance focused workout, meaning you're running. So you're essentially running a 5K around a course. You're not running the 5K in totality in that very moment. So you'll run, don't quote me on this, I think it might be 0.73 meters, something like that, meters around like a course. And then you go and do like a certain modality, like for instance, running around, go in and do like 1,000 meters on a ski erg, right? Then run again, go push the sled, run again, do a rower, you know what I mean? Like, so you're doing it for 8 stations. There's different types of workouts. I'll be honest, I'm totally nervous about it, but the wall balls are the scary part. Wall balls where you have to just squat and press up. You have to do 100 of them. But anyway, so that workout or that type of, I don't know what to call it, like endurance fitness challenge has become like more and more popular over the years. It's actually very new in essence, but
well, I feel like the new popular thing is more like hybrid athlete.
Yep.
Like I feel like it's always been either you're a runner or you're a lifter.
Yeah.
And you're not both.
You're not both. Yeah.
And now it's like a huge push. Like you see all these people in Austin and stuff doing like these huge pushes to like be like a jacked runner or be a runner that's jacked.
Yep. I'll tell you, honestly, it opened my eyes to running. I did not like it. I do not want to run. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But when you see progress and you're like, oh, wait, I'm not as out of breath running now. Like, I actually can have a conversation. Like, I actually have developed something.
Yeah.
It is, I will say, probably one of the most challenging workouts I've ever done in my life.
The high rocks.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like
it's very challenging.
Like I can't believe people actually sign up for that, man.
Yeah. So I go to a gym in Raleigh, and they are a High Rocks affiliate gym. So it's kind of cool because it's some ways integrated into every workout we do there.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that you're running miles every single time either, right? Like, but you are like in some ways doing something that is getting your heart rate up, and then strength training right behind it or intertwined at the same time. So it is really cool. I love it, man. It's like almost addicting. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I love this feeling. Like, I got like a cardio burst, but then my muscles also are like busting at the seams because I'm like feeling so strong.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on the hybrid athlete. Like it's a big thing now.
Yeah. I feel like with the hybrid stuff, it's okay. First of all, I think we need to exclude social media hybrid athletes because that is their full-time job. I'm like, fair. How can you do you know Nick Bear? Have you seen him at all?
I think I may have.
He owns the BPN supplement company. Anyway, dude, he was an Army Ranger, I think, or he was in the Army. I don't know if he was a Ranger. He might have been. Anyway, dude's like 6'5", unbelievably jacked. He's running 6-minute marathons, and I'm like, okay, this is your full-time job. And he's like, no, you can do it too. And I'm like, no, I can't because I have a wife, I have a daughter, I have a job. Like, no, I physically cannot be doing what you're doing. Like,
you should wake up at 4 a.m. either.
Yeah. I ain't that tough, man. I'll get up, like, if I wake up at like 6:30 naturally, I'll get up and just go.
Yeah.
But I'm not set an alarm to go.
Those were
right now I've like, because I did the little sprint triathlon like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm so turned off with endurance right now. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to the gym. Yeah. I'm lifting heavy. I don't have to really sweat.
Yeah. That's
fair. But I do feel like when I'm like in shape with endurance, like endurance.
Yeah.
In shape.
in shape with your endurance work.
Yeah. No. Like when I'm like that, I feel like I sleep better.
Yeah.
Because I'm also more inclined to watch what I eat as well.
Yeah.
Where like when I'm lifted, I'm like, when I'm just lifting and I'm just focused on like pumping up weight, I'm like, yeah, I can have ice cream, like whatever. It doesn't affect me. I can smoke more cigars, like whatever. But yeah, the whole hybrid athlete thing, the theory of it is sick.
Yeah.
It's just whether like, I don't know. I've never really like spent like, you know what? for the next 3 months, I'm really gonna try to do this all
Yeah.
out. Maybe I need to, but
It's funny because I don't consider myself an athlete at all. But I guess I technically am a hybrid athlete because I'm doing all these modalities. I will say what I found is similar to you. I don't have I'm not married or I don't have children, but I will say just from the perspective of having a full-time job in a life, like I was in grad school. I just finished grad school. Like I knew at the time, like, you know what, I can't I'm not a full-time influencer. I can't work out all day, So for me, it was back to my roots of like just figuring out like what works for me time-wise. Yeah. Funny enough, though, it's the early mornings that work for me. So I'm like 6 a.m. type of a guy.
Yeah.
Workout guy. But that's just because it works better for my schedule. I know, like, for me, I do not like I would have no energy at the end of the day because I give my all throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like even here full time at my job, I come in and I'm mentally giving so much. Like by the time I'm done, like one time I went to the gym in the evening because I thought I could do it. It was a leg day. I thought I was gonna pass out. Like the guy beside me was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass out."
Yeah.
I'm so exhausted. But mornings I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, okay, I'm a little tired waking up and getting there, but once I'm up, when I work out, I'm just like pumped for the entire day.
Yeah.
And then I go home after work and I'm sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired. I'm like, oh, I should go to sleep.
What time do you go to bed?
I try to be in bed by 9.
Oh, that's nice. That's my problem. I go to bed way too late.
Yeah.
Like we'll put the baby down at like, I don't know, 8:30. I feel like usually, and she wakes up a few times, so I gotta go get her again. Yeah. But like we're just like, okay, no, like me and my wife can just sit on the couch, enjoy quality time together, and then we're watching TV, which I don't know is quality time. Watching Friends or whatever. But we were watching like Friends or The Office or something, and then I'm like, it's 10:30, like 11 sometime. Like let's go to bed, and then I'm if I'm up at like 6:30, I'm like, I'm so tired and I don't want to go, and so it's like just fighting that and trying to get up and just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
Because when I do go, like my days are so much better. Like I went this morning, and like I'm driving here, I feel good, like I feel energized. But the days I don't, I feel kind of like, ugh, which is weird. Like you would think the opposite.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I'm too tired to go. Like I'll feel better if I don't. You don't. Like you feel so much better once you knock it out.
Yeah.
Feel like, okay, it's 8 a.m. and I've already accomplished something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing too. I've been, interestingly enough, I've been surprised to see how much the 75 hard challenge grows over the years.
Have you been doing it?
I did it for a month last year.
Okay.
You know what the culprit that got me?
What?
It was a bottle of wine. He and my best friend, we both were doing 75 hard. We were doing so good.
Yeah.
And we got to literally, I kid you not, we were literally on the 30th day. We're on the 30th day. Like, and we were like, you know what? We could have like a little glass of wine.
We deserve it.
With our dinner, we're eating clean. We've worked out twice today already. And we drank like one glass and we just looked at each other and we're like, just finish it. And we're like, yeah, finish the bottle. We just finished the bottle. And then from there, just like, I'm making excuses, but it's truly what happened. Like, it was like, it spiraled. It was a domino effect. I was like, I went home like, I can eat a pizza.
Yeah.
I'll order Papa John's.
Especially with drinking, it's like, it just screws up your neck. Like the next day, you're so screwed up. You're like, you wake up, you're like, I'm definitely not working out. I don't feel good. Like, it's just like, or I mean, even if you're like not even drinking, you just have like a big old pint of ice cream or something, and then the next morning you're like, well, what's the point? Because I've already just downed this, and you make these like excuses
for yourself.
Yeah,
like feel like, what, I'm giving myself a pass.
Yeah,
but you have to just remember, don't give yourself a pass too much. You got to be like, nah, Davante, no, you have to cook dinner tonight.
I think there's definitely a balance though, because you still gotta like, there's life, and you gotta enjoy it. Like you don't want to be that friend. Like, gosh, it's the worst. Yeah, I have that one friend. You're all going out, and you're like, all right, let's all go get like let's have a beer or like an ice cream or something, and they're like, no, I'm on a diet. I'm like, all right, screw you, dude.
You're like, just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it once in a while.
Yeah. I will say I'm not that friend, but my friends have learned to like kind of work with me. Like they know, okay, Davante is going to be in bed by 9, so we'll offer for him to go out with us, but we know he's not going to come. But I'll come like on like occasions, like the weekend. I'm like, okay, this is the time I'll stay up a little bit later to go out with y'all and just hang out in town, do whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, on a weekday, don't, not to call me because I'm not coming. I have to work out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, my friends actually joke about it with me now. So
What great discipline. See, that's the thing. I just don't.
I'd say, actually, that's a great way to describe it. Yep, it is discipline.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily feel like I have. I don't know if I necessarily feel like I have great discipline. Maybe I
I
do.
don't know. You're waking up at 6 to work out. That's pretty disciplined.
True.
Yeah. And then saying, like, I have so much FOMO that if somebody's like, hey, you want to come over or do this, do that, I'm like, yup. I don't care. Like, because I can't say no.
That's my friends last night. My best friends. They're like, you want to come out with us to the movies to see the Fantastic Four? Do you know how hard it was for me to turn that down? Considering I love superhero movies, like I really want to see the Fantastic Four movie, but I'm like, I have to go to bed.
That's crazy.
I can't tonight.
That's cool. Yeah.
So those sorts of days, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I do okay. I don't.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is like I don't eat
yeah.
great. Like, what do you eat? Do you eat? Are you a good eater or no?
I will say that's probably been the area where I felt the most
Really?
over the last couple of years. I have yet to refine. Actually, I'll take that back. I had a dietitian last year, and I've done a lot better. Like, I learned so much about like how our bodies work and operate, over time. But I never counted calories. I didn't think calories mattered for me because I was so used to being like, I had such high metabolism for so long. Like, I didn't really start gaining weight until like I was 27. Like, I was always like thin, very thin. But I always got used to just be like, oh, my metabolism will take care of it.
Yeah.
But as I get older, I'm like, oh wait, my metabolism's not taking care of it. So with that being said, though, I've been trying to like make sure my diet is pretty robust, full of like, if I can get like veggies in a day, getting your main sources, like your main things you should be achieving, fruits, veggies. I eat a fruit a day. Definitely is one of my rules. I love fruit anyway. I've always loved fruit and veggies, but fruit, veggies. The issue I struggle with is the proportion of carbs to protein. Like, I'm gonna eat all of this rice, and my dietitian is like, no, you should eat all the chicken first. You eat your protein first, and then start indulging in the carbs.
Yeah.
I like carbs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I fell. But I will say, for the most part, though, I do pretty good. Like, I would say in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not eating McDonald's every day. You know what I mean? Like, or eating like fast food all the time. It's just those sorts of things. But I will say, like, I sometimes do get like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I see these influencers, which I know it's not always real, like making these like elaborate protein meals, and I'm like, why can't I be that person?
Yeah.
Like, making a protein meal, like, I just don't want to spend 2 hours in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Make food,
I tried to do this one time. I saw this, I don't know, somewhere on Instagram. They made this avocado egg toast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that looks so easy. And then I go to the store, spend a bunch of money, first of all. And then I'm like, I got to hard boil these eggs and I got to chop them up. And then I had bacon in them. And then the avocado, I've never even cut open an avocado before. So I learned how to do that and scoop it out. And it was hard as a rock because I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know it was supposed to be soft. And I'm chopping it all up, dicing it all up, trying to put it on this sourdough. And then an hour and a half goes by and I'm like, all right, I know. No, it's Allison. I'm like, all right, Allison, here's your avocado toast. I know it's supposed to be for breakfast and it's now lunch, but enjoy.
That's the thing. It'll take so much. You're like, there's no way they spent this much time on this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's just no way they spent this much time.
They cut all the shots.
Yeah.
Sweating over the stove. It's just like.
No, but it was real, though. Back to your point, though, about the cost. Because I'm like, I forgot. I made this like one. Oh my God. There's just one influencer I follow. I mean, she like makes the most beautiful looking like protein, like packed meals. But there was this one. I'm trying to think. I think it might have been like almost like a pudding type thing, a protein pudding. I went to the store, grabbing all these ingredients, chia seeds. I'm grabbing the pudding, like the style of, I think I had to get a yogurt or something like that. I'm grabbing everything she had basically, and I'm like, this is $40, $50. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to get. I'm like, how many servings of this am I going to get? I'm going to get like 5 bowls out of this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still $50. I'm like, good grief.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's probably why half America is obese. Yeah. Because it's so freaking expensive to like eat clean.
Yeah.
Gosh, even if you're just like, I'm going to have, a steak tonight. Like,
yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to spend $14 for me and $14 for my wife. And we still have to cook it at home.
Yep.
And, clean up and all that stuff. So, yeah. Like, doesn't include sides or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The whole eating is that's my downfall. But
Yeah.
because also, like, if I'm working out for a while and I'm doing good, I'm like, you know what? I deserve this mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you got to treat yourself. It's a balance.
But there is definitely there's definitely a balance, and I feel sometimes I go overboard, but I feel like recently, this last year, has been pretty good.
Yeah.
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 But I also don't have a goal. Like, do you have a fitness goal?
I have interestingly enough, I have an aesthetic goal because technically, and what I mean by that, technically, it's weird. Like, I have met all the numbers I want to meet.
Okay.
Like, composition wise, like my body fat percentage, like my weight, like it's exactly where I want it to be. I just have to eat. I have to be strict with eating, and that's the thing. I have to be so strict with eating to get like the aesthetic I want, because I'm technically already there. And to give you kind of a picture of it, like I'm like, it's the type of thing when people are like, you know what, my abs are 100% there. Like I can see them, but they're not hardcore visible like a bodybuilder type visible, because I'm not about to like get down to 4% body fat. Like I'm not about to eat chicken breast over there. It's just not happening.
No.
But so I would say I kind of have essentially hit my goal. I'm just trying to get better about eating more protein.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I'm like, all right, I want to get down. So I started the year a little chunk. But I started the year at 200, and I was like 198. I've never hit 200 before. I'm like, yeah, like I gotta cut some weight. So I'm like, all right, let me get down to like 170, 175. So I get down to like 180, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm good with being 180 if I'm like pretty jacked, like I'm lifting, and I'm like, okay, like I feel strong and I feel good. Like 180 is probably fine, you know?
Yeah.
But now I'm like 186 and I'm not that jacked. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to be like 170 and not have any muscle. But then I'm like, but 170, you can still be pretty jacked.
Yeah.
170. Like I'm looking at these people and I'm like, they're 170, but they're huge. And I'm like, what's my problem?
I will tell you, like, that's the beauty of human bodies, though. Audience for y'all as well. Beauty of human bodies. I always have to tell, like, you know, myself and sometimes some of my like students, let's not navigate looking at other people's bodies like because they have the same weight class as you or height as you, because our bodies are different. Like a lot of people wouldn't believe this, but I'm almost 200 pounds. Like, yeah,
I would never.
Yeah, I'm like high 190. So yeah,
I would have never. Yeah,
I'm just a lot of lean, you know. So, but yeah, so, but then I can look at a guy who's beside me. Like, there's an influencer I follow. He's the same height as me.
Yeah.
He's the same weight, but he looks jacked. I'm like, why do I not look like this? You know? So at one point I was like navigating this like mental space of like, do I just go heavier and gain even more weight?
Right.
Like so I can gain like, you know, develop this look. And you know, obviously there's a lot of small things in there that play a role in that. Like, you know, the way I lift is probably different from his. With me being high rate, I'm not building as much muscle, so I'm doing a lot more cardio elements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am going to look a little bit leaner, but also genetics in some ways. And how I eat. So like all those things play a role in it. But I've started to learn like not to hyperfixate on people who may be similar to me and feel like I'm supposed to be like them. I'm like, okay, you know what? Actually, I kind of like how I'm in the right space of what it has to be. You know?
Yeah.
You know, as long as I feel good.
That's a cool place to be though. Like to be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's like a tough place to be.
Yeah. I had somebody ask me one time. It was he was like, so do you want to gain more? Do you want to do this? Like gain weight? Like, and I'm like, no, I actually am really happy where I'm at. Like, I just need to eat better.
With the MS, do you have to have a certain type of diet or anything?
Not necessarily, but we've recognized that like diets that are less prone to inflaming the body are better. So the Mediterranean diet, which is funny enough, I actually like eating like a Mediterranean diet, I guess, if you will. That's how I always ate. For the most part, ate anyway. Okay. It's just the snacks that get me.
Okay.
Like the potato chip.
Right.
The popcorn. Like that's where I started thinking, okay, I know I'm eating a ton of stuff that's probably inflaming my body, right?
Right. And so what does it feel like?
Like
when you feel like inflamed or whatever. Like, I don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I feel heavy, sometimes bloated. Pain wouldn't be a way I would describe it. Pain would be a way I would describe when I have an actual MS flare up. But like when my body's inflamed, honestly, a lot of us are inflamed. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
people who
Yeah.
don't even have MS, like we're inflamed. People just don't know that.
Yeah.
But gut issues, like feeling like like heavy. I will say having MS though has taught me how to navigate it and understand like when I'm inflamed. Like I'm totally inflamed.
Mm.
Let me spend a couple days of detoxing,
Yeah.
drinking strictly like alkaline water, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not eating any snacks
Yeah.
that are heavy.
What brings on an MS flare?
Mainly stress, but the thing with it, stress, weather patterns can
Really?
shift as well. Yeah. So going from extreme temperatures. So like I have to prepare for like when we switch over to winter when that does happen. Because my body can react to it. Like and I'll just feel it in different way. Everyone's different. That's the thing. Like with MS, it's so different. Like someone might tell you, when they have a flare up, they can't walk. Like you mean they lose their ability in their legs.
Well, I have heard of people with MS. Like we had a family friend, I believe, with MS, but they were moving to like Arizona or something because it was like warmer weather. It was steady that weather all the time. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people do that. Like some people move to which funny enough, I would never think that, but I don't truly know the full reasons behind it. But like, Colorado is apparently like a good state for people
Really?
with MS.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just funny because the MS Society, the National MS Society, is based out of Colorado.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
I wonder if like elevation helps maybe.
yeah, that's the thing. Like elevation, I feel like people are more prone to like exercise there too. One of the things about MS too is like you have to like move.
Oh, right.
Like it's one of the it's easy to like get complacent and like sit, but like I found and I get this recognition from my neurologist often. She's like, you should be moving, like you have to move. So I will say, I'm thankful that I've always moved anyway, because I was an athlete before I was doing, before I was diagnosed. So it was natural for me anyway. I was like, no, I want to move again. Like, let me know when I can go back to the gym and start lifting his weight because it's driving me crazy. So,
Was it a relief when you found out you had MS?
mm-hmm.
Because you were having like these problems. You were like, I don't know what's going on.
I was having them for like 4 months.
Really?
Straight 4 months. Like, I remember when it happened too. Like I was, I had just when I was going out with a friend downtown Raleigh, and we were just going to go just have a little drink, and I started noticing like tingling in like my fingers and my feet, and I was kind of like, okay, maybe it's just the cold weather, or maybe think about like the tingling being like, when you were a kid, you jumped off of something too high, and like the shock, that's what it felt like. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like why is this happening? Like would the cold weather actually do that to me? I don't know. And so I was like, I'll just sleep it off. I get home, it was still happening. Get home, sleep. What kind of brought it to my attention really was when I woke up and it was still happening. I was like, okay, no, this should be gone.
Yeah.
And being young, I'm used to my body bouncing back.
Right.
So I was like, wait, no, nothing's happening. So I called the doctors the next day. I went to like a clinic just to get some quick medicine because I was like, you know what? I think I pinched a nerve because I had lifted weights that week. And I'm like, I feel like I pinched a nerve. And so she was like, yeah, I'll give you some muscle relaxants. Took the muscle relaxers. No, like it didn't do anything. So I was just going to see doctors every month. I kid you not, I was going to a new doctor every month.
And then so like tingling's still going on?
Yeah. So I was going to a doctor. It started progressing. So within like 2 weeks, I started feeling burning in my hands. It felt like my hands were over a fire. And I was like, and at the time it was funny because I was going, I was going to California. I think what really brought my MS about was I had experienced 2 deaths in my family back to back, like in that span of those weeks. And I think mentally I was just stressing, and so it just brought it out a little bit more. But anyway, I got back home. I went to like a hand specialist. I'm like, maybe it's just my hands. And then I went to an eye doctor because my vision started getting blurry. Like even with my glasses on, like it didn't matter. Like me seeing you now was so much better, but like then I would have been like blurry, like trying to
like really.
So yeah, my eyes were like really, really having a hard time. I didn't realize obviously all that was a part of MS.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and I remember at one point I got to this thing. I mean, I was a hypochondriac. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I have a brain tumor. I thought I literally had a brain tumor. I was like, oh my God, I have a brain tumor or something, or And so I finally, I booked an appointment with the neurologist. I'm like, I'm just going to go to the person that will really be able to see my nerves or see if something's happening. And I met with her. And, one of the other progressive symptoms that happened to me particularly was there was a pulling down my spine. So it felt like it's hard to really describe it, but if you can, sounds gross. Imagine a rope. You're pulling a rope. Like you can see the lines pulling and tugging. It felt like that in my neck, like in my spine, like I was being pulled. And I was like, oh man, like what is this feeling? And my nerves were just always skyrocketing, shooting everywhere. And so I, went to see her. She was like, okay, like you don't have a brain tumor. I can tell you that now. There's symptoms for that, that you're not exhibiting. But we're going to do an MRI and like see. She's like, I think it could be a pinched nerve. What she didn't tell me was when I told her about my neck, it alerted her that there could be something else going on. Like, cause she's like, okay, your hands, okay, your neck, you know what I mean? Like that is probably not, what I'm thinking it is. It's probably not a pinched nerve, but I'm going to wait until I see the results. So they did the MRI. They called me the next day. And I was like, oh man, the doctor wants to see you like tomorrow, like as soon as possible. And I'm like, okay. So I go in, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's about to tell me. But then she looked at me and I was not expecting it. She was like, have you ever heard of MS? And I'm like, no. Or yes, yes, I said yes. And she's like, give me all these things. And dude, I would tell you, like, I had literally just turned 30 in December. So this was January. I found it all out. I was floored. I'm like, man, I'm so young. I just turned 30. Like, this is wild. Like, but she helped me navigate and learn so much. Like I was doing a deep dive, and I have such a great circle of people, great sphere of people. Everyone was just very much like in support, like helpful. Like I have so many friends, which was funny because at times it got a little overwhelming. Like you love the love, but it's getting overwhelming. Right. Everyone's like, "Here's a book I found for you on MS." Like, and I'm like,
"Oh yeah, thanks."
I have a cousin that had MS, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, yeah, I know. Thank you. I appreciate that, but it's not really helpful right now. So, but I actually ended up making some great like connections along the way. I feel really good now. Like my treatment has done wonders for me. I'm actually in remission right now. So
really,
like, yeah, so like what they see when they're doing the MRIs or something called lesions.
Okay,
and that's what lets them know if the MS is like very active at the time. So to give you an example, like MS is always technically active. So I think a lot of people think when people get treatment that it's gone. I'm like, no, it's still relevant. It's still working. It's still happening, unfortunately, in our bodies. It's just we're trying to diminish it and get it down as much as possible. So the progression is not big. But I will say switching over to like the infusion that I now am on is amazing. Like they literally just put me up to an IV, shoot me with all the cells, and I feel literally, I was telling my nurse, and she Googled about it. I'm like, I feel like I can just start cutting flips right now. Like I have so much energy. Like I can give you the cells. Yeah. But to the point of like the lesions though, they look at those lesions in your brain, like it's like these white marks they'll see. And that kind of lets them know if there's activity in the brain. Obviously the very first time when they found out I had MS, there was a lot of activity. That's why I couldn't see. A lot of people will lose their eyesight. Like some people can go blind.
Why did it take them so long to even think of MS?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, it's because my doctors wanted to believe I was a hypochondriac. Like, there's no shade to my doctors, but truthfully, I will say navigating this, man, it point made me like wonder, should I become a health advocate for people? Because this is wild.
Well, yeah.
I'm thankful to have a company or job that pays for my insurance so that when I go see all these doctors, I'm not paying hundreds of dollars. Like, yeah, like I'm just paying a copay of $25.
Yeah, for the I tell you, I don't know.
Yeah, which was I think that was probably the piece that pissed me off. Excuse my language. I know I'm under podcast, but that was really the piece that really got to me was when people were when the doctors or nurses, whoever I was speaking with, they were like, nothing's wrong with you. Like I had a few of them say, there's nothing wrong. Like you're fine. And I'm like, there is something wrong. I know my body. I'm virtually an athlete. Like I know what doesn't feel right in my body. Like I know it enough. And I'm like, this is not normal. And I had one person I was working with, he's a chiropractor. He's amazing. At times we thought it was just maybe misalignment in like my body, posture wise, where I was pinching a nerve. And this is before I saw the neurologist. Okay. But he was on my side. And he was very much one of the ones that recommended like let's see the neurologist and then let's see what happens. And
Mm,
I was thankful I did that. Like, just did that. But yeah, I was navigating so many different doctors. It was actually overwhelming.
crazy.
Navigating so many of them, and a lot of them were just like, no, I don't think it's this. I think it's just, I forgot one of the eye doctors had told me, like, I don't think it's anything major. And I'm like, it is major.
Right.
It's major.
Yeah.
Like,
My hands are on fire and I can't see you, doc. So tell me it's not major.
well, I went to, obviously I said I did a deep dive afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Finding it out. And yeah, mostly women are affected by MS, but it was quite interesting to read like the history on it, like when it became kind of like brought into the light for people to know what it was. A lot of it, a lot of women who had went to the doctors were being told they were being hypochondriacs, like
Really?
who couldn't see or saying they couldn't see, or their vision was blurry, or their sinuses were like really affected. I actually went to him because at the time, like all this was all happening at the same time, right? Like, which is wild, but like it was around the holiday season. I was like, I can barely see, and I kind of chucked my vision up to like sinuses
Okay.
because my nose was like really stopped. I feel really congested, and I went to
and it's winter, so you're like, you think probably
Yeah.
it might be cold or something.
yeah, I went to an ENT, and it was actually really nice. I had the guy, he did like a test on me. He was like, I can do like a sinus test to like clear your sinuses and look up, your cavity and see if everything is good. He's like, it'll be like $300-$400. And I'm like, it's fine, just do it. Anything to get this to stop, because it feels horrible in my face, all the pressure. And immediately it kind of scared me a little bit, but you could see the doctor just kind of he kind of looked like almost like he was in disbelief, but he was like, actually, nothing's wrong with your sinuses. Your sinuses are perfect. Like, they're clean. Like, there's nothing up there. And I said, oh, well, why would this be happening? Like, why do I feel like I have so much up there? And he's like, well, neurological disorders can mimic sinuses. Have you ever been diagnosed with anything? Or I'm like, you know what? I'm actually about to see a neurologist soon, so we'll see. Lo and behold, my MS does that. So, yeah. So, but again, I'm thankful. Like, I got everything answered after, so you can understand like why after 4 months of doing all of this, I was happy for somebody to give me somewhat of an answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, please. I'm like,
Yeah. I can't imagine, dude. That's crazy. That's a crazy story.
yeah. So, yo, thanks for coming to my TED Talk here.
Well, no, it's good because I mean, like, I've heard of MS, but I didn't really, I don't know too much about it, obviously. So
Yeah.
well, you're able to share that.
Yeah, dude, it's very much you learn so much about it. That's how I actually kind of learned I was inflamed too. Because when they do a spinal tap, they put that needle on your back. Yeah. Your spine, pull out fluids, and then they could see like I was really inflamed. Yeah. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Those suck.
yeah, they do. It was the thought of it was scarier than the actual thing happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it, I had, thankful I had people come support me. And actually Sydney being one of them. Sydney being one of the people that come with me. But when I got that spinal tap, I was just like, okay, I'm thankful for this to be able. But this was kind of, essentially, it's one of the tests they do to determine if you actually have MS.
Okay.
So they'll put that side by side with the scans and then what I'm telling them on my sense.
Say everything lines up.
Yeah, and everything. So that spinal tap essentially told them, okay, he does have MS, in fact.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Well, that's wild.
Yeah.
Great story. I mean, it's not great, but it's,
Yeah.
it's a fascinating story.
No, maybe I'll write a book one day.
Yeah, write a book, man. Write a book. Why not? I mean, you're young. You got time.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the coffee?
Okay, so full bloomed, don't come for me. I would say 6 out of 10.
Yeah. I was thinking the same. I was gonna say like 6.8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Full Bloom.
Yeah.
I mean, they're. I've been to their coffee shop in Garner a couple times, and it's really cool. And they do have like, they have so many different flavors. So I do feel bad. Like, I got to start kind of getting different flavors from the same shops because just because the breakfast blend Busy Bee might not be my favorite doesn't mean another one might be. And so, but yeah, I mean, we're just rating. I don't want to. Full Bloom is a great company. The Busy, the bean is just not my favorite.
Also, Full Bloom, I'm gonna come to your space and I'm gonna get another style of coffee because I imagine your other flavors. I'm a dark roast guy anyway.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
so I imagine I probably I prefer like a darker.
Yeah, I try to do like stick to mediums on the pod because I'm like, I don't know, like obviously it's medium, so it's like it's kind of in between, you know. But I need first of all, I'm running out of roasters and Ollie. Like I think I've gone through almost every single one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, maybe we kind of go back through the different flavors of each one. And I'm not opposed to like other areas too. They don't have to just be Raleigh. But I like to highlight the Raleigh ones since that's where we live.
That's fair.
Hang out. But anyway, yeah, I would give it like a 6.8-ish, somewhere in there. It was kind of just bland. Like it wasn't a whole lot to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it was and it's always nice. I like drinking black coffee in moments like this because I'm able to kind of taste the full profile.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, I could really get down with it with a little bit of creamer. Just a little bit.
I need something. I need a little something.
Yeah.
And the coffee bean itself, I'd give that a 2.
And the coffee bean, I won't even give it a score because I'm not eating that again. Like, I'm like, no, wait,
rough.
I've had coffee beans, like I said, and it was like the ones I've had. I don't know what brand they were. That like I said, be with my espresso martini.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, because I've had them with an espresso martini. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
but maybe it's because it's like soaking in liquid. But this,
I'm just like, oh yeah, that's definitely not it.
So every guest, I should be like, all right, we're rating 2 things. Yeah, eat this coffee bean.
Actually, you should start doing that with your guests now. Like, eat a coffee bean. Yeah,
eat one. Try it.
Yeah,
just don't chew it into the microphone.
Hopefully,
make sure the listeners don't want to listen.
I'll say, hopefully, I got the worst one. Like, there's the other ones that will be good. But
yeah. Well, anyway, man, it was great having you on and learning your story. And
appreciate it.
Where can people find you on social medias?
Oh man, y'all can find me at Davante Falls on Instagram. It's really the one I use. I don't use Facebook too much, so yeah, come check me out on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, when I post this, just go ahead and share it to your story. I'll tag you. So
exactly.
Go see what you got going on. But thanks for coming on, man. It was fun. This was a good one.
Yeah, I like that. It's like a little different from. We still real estate, but it was just a little different side of it.
It was a little different side of it, which is cool. So I hope you guys learned something from Davante, and appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.